everybody, what is going on? Welcome to Regular Josh 1. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button in this video, and if you're new, subscribe. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a vlogging channel that I'm kind of starting to get, rejuvenated again. I'm starting to post there again. So if you do want to check that out, the link to the description to that vlogging channel is right there in the description down below. So, Coyote versus Acme. This is the third video that I've made about Coyote versus Acme. The story behind this is honestly kind of just crazy. Warner Brothers wanted to shelve it for $30 million for tax purposes. And then they said, we're just kidding. We're going to go ahead and actually allow the buyers that wanted to purchase this movie before, we're going to allow them to get a screening so they can be able to see this movie. And then we're going to basically have them bid. Whoever bids the highest, we're going to go ahead and give it to them. To now, where we are hearing a little bit more about the bidding war that is going on. So what we currently have is Netflix made a bid, and also Paramount, which I think is kind of a surprise to a lot of people. Paramount has also made a bid. We're waiting to hear whether Amazon is going to make a bid, or if they do, what kind of bid they're going to make. In fact, with these bids that we're hearing as of right now, we don't necessarily have like a particular number as to how much money that they're willing to offer Warner Brothers Discovery for this movie. All we know at the very least is that Netflix, I think, did half of what Warner Brothers Discovery is currently asking for right now when it comes to this movie, because Warner Brothers, which is very funny to me, might I add, what they're asking for is more than $70 million for this particular film, which I get it. It took $70 million for them to produce this movie. You don't want to just get that $70 million back. You want to get also some more money back. Look, I get it. It's a business. That's what they're going to do. But again, need I remind you, they were willing to shelve this movie for $30 million, which means that $40 million was just going to be gone. There was no way they were going to get that back anyway. Paramount apparently wants to potentially put this movie in theaters. They want to do a theatrical release, which makes sense because this movie originally was going to have a theatrical release to begin with. Some people thought that it was only going to be for streaming when it first came out, but that's not true. It was always going to have a theatrical release. It did have a release date of somewhere in July of 2023. I do hope that whoever does happen to end up winning this bid and does end up purchasing this film, I hope they do happen to do a theatrical release. Mainly because it would be so good to just prove to Warner Brothers Discovery that they were so wrong about how they treated this film. Because I'm still questioning what was the exact reasoning for why they didn't want to release this movie themselves, whether it be to streaming or to the theaters, right? Why they decided to put it on the shelf for $30 million. And again, why, when they had potential buyers before all of this happened, they wanted to shelve it anyway. They weren't willing to look at the other people that said, yes, we want to purchase this film. And they said, nope, we're not going to allow you to do it. I still do not understand the reasoning behind this at all. It just doesn't make sense. But again, this is Warner Brothers Discovery we're talking about. They are not a smart company by any sense of the word. I still argue they're the worst company in Hollywood as of right now. I could be wrong. There could be way worse, but I think Warner Brothers Discovery as a conglomerate is the worst right now. I want to read a passage from Deadline. Of course, I'm on Deadline because they offer a very interesting perspective when it comes to these, the whole situation with Warner Brothers Discovery. I think they don't necessarily in fact, I don't think anybody is really a big fan of Warner Brothers Discovery with all of the things they're doing. I mean, considering that even a congresswoman, I think, had to kind of talk about what Warner Brothers Discovery was doing with this movie. Like, you get politics involved? Like, that's insane. Like, that just tells you you're not doing anything right. But anyway, let's read a couple of things from Deadline and let's talk about this. Warner's is playing hardball as it wants to cover the $70 million cost and then some. So to be determined who wins this. But at the end of the day, Warner's, Acme vs. Coyote isn't Disney's Song of the South. There's no reason to bury this film in the vault for others not to see it. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this, and the sense of humor rivals the sophistication of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Also, wake up Warner Brothers, all of this is bad for business. And they continue with this by saying, one filmmaker told me recently, we have a project over at Warner's in development. We're so not pursuing active development until the studio is sold. I want to read that again. We're not pursuing active development until the studio is sold. God knows what will happen to projects in development. What do you think? Shouldn't those fears be dispelled? Come on, Warner, either sell Coyote vs. Acme or release it. Do you really want your history to go down as a place that's known for killing projects and a former Warner Media CEO, Jason Keller, whatever, known for releasing movies to the widest audience possible via streaming and theatrical? I mean, it literally makes sense to everyone else to release this movie, whether to sell it off to potential buyers or to release it yourselves. But for whatever stupid ass reason, Warner Brothers Discovery said, nah, we're gonna shelve it, okay? And if nobody decides, if we don't find the great potential buyer to purchase this film for what we're asking for, then we're still going to possibly shelve it or whatever. I don't know. Look, the question I have to ask is, what is it that other buyers saw that Warner Brothers Discovery didn't? So why is it that another company wants to potentially put this in theaters? They're willing to spend the money, might I add. If they have to spend the $70 million and more to purchase this film, they will, but then they also got to spend even more on marketing. Why is it that they are willing to spend that money, yet you guys are not willing to do that at all? How is it that other companies can also see that this movie can potentially make them some good profit, yet you guys were not even willing to try? You're in the movie making business. You're in the movie business. And yet you are too scared and too cheap to even want to release your own film in theaters. I don't understand this move at all. I don't get it. I am hoping that another company purchases this film. I'm hoping whoever purchases this movie, for one, treats it right, and two, I would love to see a theatrical release of this movie happen. Not necessarily because I want to see it in theaters, I'm excited to see it in theaters or whatever, but I want to see a film like this go into theaters, mainly just to prove to Warner Brothers Discovery just how stupid they are. Because it will be so satisfying. Just imagine this for a second. You put this movie in theaters, right? You're seeing a bunch of marketing, yada, 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 and then the opening box office. Let's say that this, or maybe not, let's not even focus on opening box office. Let's just say overall box office ticket sales for this particular movie. It will be amazing if, say, this movie makes like $300, $400, $500 million. Let's even say that this movie was that good for a lot of people that it ended up making $1 billion. That I'm just going out there, right? I'm not saying realistically or whatever. I'm just going out there. Let's say that Coyote vs. Acme were to make $1 billion in the box office. That, you know, would sting the hell out of Warner Brothers Discovery, because that it would eat them up. That would be another film that would potentially make a big amount of money at the box office, and they just lost out on a ton of money. Yeah, they got their $70 million back if whoever ends up buying this film gives them that money, but then they miss out on the millions of dollars that it would have potentially made at the box office anyway. So they still freaking lose. And I really, really want for that to be the case. I want for Warner Brothers Discovery to completely lose, because that is exactly what they deserve. So that's all I have to really say about this whole situation. I'm glad that there is a bidding war that is currently happening right now, in the sense that we know that there are buyers that are wanting to still purchase this film. And I really, 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 really do hope that it falls in the right hands. I hope it falls into any hands of these companies regardless. Unless Warner Brothers Discovery decides, oh, you know what, actually, we take it back. We're going to go ahead and release it anyway. We know, they see a potential. Now we're starting to see potential, blah, blah, blah. I hope that doesn't happen, because Warner Brothers Discovery does not deserve this movie. It really, after everything that they've done, they really do not deserve this movie. And when you have other filmmakers that are currently having things in development with you guys right now, and they do not want to even go forward with anything until they said the studio is sold, That tells you you lost a ton of trust within the filmmakers community, and that is just not good at all. It's only going to get harder for you guys in the future because of this. So yeah, I don't I don't know what else I need to necessarily say in that regard though, but man, I'm hoping that this movie gets purchased by a good company, or I hope this movie does well when it gets released. If it gets released, I'm really hoping for it. And I just want Warner Brothers Discovery to be proven so wrong on this and let everybody just laugh in their faces. That's it. So yeah, but anyways, that's all I have to say about this video, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of all of this? Do you hope that this movie gets a theatrical release? What company do you think would be the best to purchase this movie? And also, do you want to laugh in Warner Brothers Discovery's face if this movie happens to be a major success? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell to be notified on my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. See you next time.